Saint Augustine, commentary on Psalm 50 following. And the heaven shall declare his righteousness, verse 6. Truly this righteousness of God to us the heavens have declared, the evangelists have foretold. Through them we have heard that some will be on the right hand, to whom the householder says, Come, you blessed of my Father, receive. Matthew 25:34. Receive what? A kingdom. In return for what thing? I was and hungered, and you gave me to eat. What so valueless, what so earthly, as to break bread to the hungry? At so much is valued the kingdom of heaven. Break your bread to the hungry, and the needy without covering bring into your house. If you see one naked, clothe him. Isaiah 58:7. If you have not the means of breaking bread, hast not house into which you may bring, hast not garment wherewith you may cover, give a cup of cold water. Matthew 10:42. Cast 2 mites into the treasury. Mark 12:42. As much the widow does buy with 2 mites as Peter buys by leaving the nets. Matthew 4:20. As Zacchaeus buys by giving half his goods. Luke 19:8. Of so much worth is all that you have. The heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge. Truly judge, not confounding, but severing. For the Lord knows them that are his. To Timothy 2:19. Even if grains lie hid in the chaff, they are known to the husbandman. Let no one fear that is a grain, even among the chaff. The eyes of our winnower are not deceived. Fear not, lest that tempest, which shall be round about him, should confound you with chaff. Certainly, mighty will be the tempest, yet not one grain will it sweep from the side of the corn to the chaff. Because not any rustic with a 3-pronged fork, but God 3-in-1 is judge. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge. Let heavens go, let the heavens tell, into every land let their sound go out, and unto the ends of the world their words. And let that body say, From the ends of the world unto you have cried, unto you have I cried, when my heart was in heaviness. For now mingled it groans, divided it shall rejoice. Let it cry then, say, Destroy not my soul with ungodly men, and with men of blood my life. He destroys not together, because God is judge. Let it cry to him and say, Judge me, O Lord, and sever my cause from the nation unholy. Let it say, He shall do it. There shall be gathered to him his righteous ones. He has called the earth that he may sever his people. Hear my people, and I will speak to you. Verse 7. He shall come and shall not keep silence. See how that even now, if you hear, he is not silent. Hear my people, and I will speak to you. For if you hear not, I will not speak to you. Hear, and I will speak to you, for if you hear not, even though I shall speak, it will not be to you. When then shall I speak to you? If you hear, when do you hear? If you are my people. For hear, my people, you hear not if you are an alien people. Hear, my people, and I will speak to you, Israel, and I will testify to you. For your God is properly said to that man whom God does keep more as one of his family, as thou in his household, as thou in his peculiar. Your God am I. What will you more? Requirest thou a reward from God, so that God may give you something, so that what he has given you may be your own? Behold, God himself who shall give is your own. What richer than he? Gifts you were desiring, you have the giver himself. God, your God, I am. What he requires of man, let us see what tribute our God, our Emperor, and our King does enjoin us, since he has willed to be our King and has willed us to be his province. Let us hear his injunctions. Let not a poor man tremble beneath the injunction of God. What God enjoins to be given to himself, he does himself first give that enjoins. Be ye only devoted. God does not exact what he has not given, and to all men has given what he does exact. For what does he exact? Let us hear now. I will not reprove you because of your sacrifices. Verse 8. I will not say to you, wherefore have you not slain for me a fat bull? Why have you not selected the best he-goat from your flock? Wherefore does that ram amble among your sheep, and is not led upon mine altar? I will not say, examine your fields and your pen and your walls, seeking what you may give me. I will not reprove you because of your sacrifices. What then, dost thou not accept my sacrifices? But your holocausts are always in my sight. Verse 9. Certain holocausts concerning which it is said in another psalm, if you had desired sacrifice, I would surely have given with holocausts. You will not be delighted. And again, he turns himself. Sacrifice to God is a troubled spirit, a heart broken and humbled, God does not despise. Which be then holocausts that he despises not? Which holocausts that are always in his sight? Kindly, O Lord, he says, deal in your good will with Zion, and be the walls of Jerusalem built. Then shalt thou accept the sacrifice of righteousness, oblations, and holocausts. He says that certain holocausts God will accept. But what is a holocaust? A whole consumed with fire. Causes is burning, holon is whole, but a holocaust is a whole consumed with fire. There is a certain fire of most burning love. Be the mind inflamed with love. Let the same love hurry up the limbs to its use. Let it not allow them to serve cupidity, in order that we may wholly glow with fire of divine love that will offer to God a holocaust. Such holocausts of yours are in my sight always. As yet that Israel perchance does not understand what are the holocausts thereof which he has in his sight always, and is still thinking of oxen, of sheep, of he-goats, let it not so think. I will not accept calves of your house. Holocausts I named, at once in mind and thought, to earthly flocks you were running, therefrom you were selecting for me some fat thing. I will not accept calves of your house. He is foretelling the New Testament, wherein all those sacrifices have ceased. For they were then foretelling a certain sacrifice which was to be, with the blood whereof we should be cleansed. I will not accept calves of your house, nor he-goats, of your flocks. For mine are all the beasts of the wood. Verse 10. Why should I ask of you what I have made? Is it more yours, to whom I have given it to possess, than mine who have made it? For mine are all the beasts of the wood. But perchance that Israel says, the beasts are God's, those wild beasts which I enclose not in my pen, which I bind not to my stall, but this ox and sheep and he-goat, these are my own. Cattle on the mountain and oxen, mine are those which you possess not, mine are these which you possess. For if you are my servant, the whole of your property is mine. For it can't be that is the property of the master, which the servant has gotten to himself, and yet that not be the property of the master, which the master himself has created for the servant. Therefore mine are the beasts of the wood which you have not taken, mine are also the cattle on the mountains which are yours, and the oxen which are at your stall, all are my own, for I have created them. I know all the winged creatures of heaven. Verse 11. How does he know? He has weighed them, has counted. Which of us knows all the winged creatures of heaven? But even thou to some man God give knowledge to all of all the winged creatures of heaven, he does not himself know in the same manner as he gives man to know. One thing is God's knowledge, another man's. In like manner as there is one possession of God's, another of man's, that is, God's possessing is one thing, man's another. For what you possess you have not wholly in your power, or else your ox, so long as it lives, is in your power, so as that it either die not or be not be fed. With whom there is the highest power, there is highest and most secret cognition. Let us ascribe this to God while praising God. Let us not dare to say, how knows God? Do not, I pray you, brethren, of me expect this, that I should unfold to you how God does know. This only I say, he does not so know as a man, he does not so know as an angel, and how he knows I dare not to say, because also I cannot ken. One thing nevertheless I ken, that even before all the winged creatures of heaven were, God knew that which he was to create. What is that knowledge? O man, you begin to see after that you had been formed, after that you had received a sense of seeing. These falls sprang of the water at the word of God, saying, let the waters bring forth falls. Genesis 1:20. Whereby did God know the things which he commanded the water to bear forth? Now surely he knew what he had created, and before he created he knew. So great then is the knowledge of God, so that with himself they were in a certain ineffable manner before they were created, and of you does he expect to receive what he had before he created? I know all the winged creatures of heaven, which thou to me canst not give. The things which you were about to slay for me I know all, not because I made I know, but in order that I might make. And the beauty of the field is with me. The fairness of the field, the abundance of all things engendering upon earth, is with me, he says. How with him? Were they so even before they were made? Yea, for with him were all things to come, and with him are all things bygone, things to come in such sort that there be not withdrawn from him all things bygone. With him are all things by a certain cognition of the ineffable wisdom of God residing in the Word, and the Word himself is all things. Is not the beauty of the field in a manner with him, inasmuch as he is everywhere, and himself has said, Heaven and earth I fill? What with him is not, of whom it is said, If I shall have ascended into heaven, you are there, and if I shall have descended into hell, you are present? With him is the whole, but it is not so with him as that he does suffer any contamination from those things which he has created, or any want of them. For with you perchance is a pillar near which you are standing, and when you are weary, you lean against it. Thou needest that which is with you, God needs not the field which is with him, which is with him. With him is field, with him beauty of earth, with him beauty of heaven, with him all winged creatures, because he is himself everywhere. And wherefore are all things near him? Because even before that all things were, or were created, to him were known all things. Who can explain, who expound that which is said to him in another psalm, For my goods thou needest not? He has said that he needs not from us any necessary thing. If I shall be hungry, I will not tell you. Verse 12. He that keeps Israel shall neither hunger nor thirst, nor be weary nor fall asleep. But lo, according to your carnality I speak, because you will suffer hunger when you have not eaten. Perhaps you think even God does hunger that he may eat. Even though he shall be hungry, he tells not you. All things are before him, whence he takes what is needful for him. These words are said to convince little understanding, not that God has declared his hunger, thou for our sake this God of gods deigned even to hunger. He came to hunger and to fill. He came to thirst and give drink. He came to be clothed with mortality and to clothe with immortality. He came poor to make rich, for he lost not his riches by taking to him our poverty, for in him are all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge hidden. Colossians 2:3. If I shall be hungry, I will not tell you, for mine is the whole world and the fullness thereof. Do not then labor to find what to give me, without whom I have what I will. Why then dost still think of your flocks? Shall I eat the flesh of bulls, or shall I drink the blood of he-goats? Verse 13. You have heard what of us he requires not, who wills to enjoin us somewhat. If of such things ye were thinking, now withdraw your thoughts from such things. Think not to offer God any such thing. If you have a fat bull, kill for the poor. Let them eat the flesh of bulls. Thou they shall not drink the blood of he-goats. Which when you shall have done, he will account it to you that has said, If I shall be hungry, I will not tell you. And he shall say to you, I was hungry, and you gave me to eat. Shall I eat the flesh of bulls, or shall I drink the blood of he-goats? Matthew 25:35. Say then, Lord our God, what dost thou enjoin your people, your Israel? Immolate to God the sacrifice of praise. Verse 14. Let us also say to him, In me, O God, are your vows, which I will render of praise to you. I had feared lest you might enjoin something which you would be out of my power, which I was counting to be in my pen, and but now perchance it had been taken away by a thief. What dost thou enjoin me? Immolate to God the sacrifice of praise. Let me revert to myself, wherein I may find what I may immolate. Let me revert to myself. In myself may I find immolation of praise. Be your altar my conscience. We are without anxiety. We go not into Arabia in quest of frankincense, not any bags of covetous dealer do we sift. God requires of us the sacrifice of praise. Zacchaeus had the sacrifice of praise in his patrimony, Luke 19:8. The widow had it in her bag, Mark 12:42. Some poor host or other has had it in his jar. Another neither in patrimony nor in bag nor in jar has had anything, had it wholly in his heart. Salvation was to the house of Zacchaeus, and more this poor widow cast in than those rich men. This man that does offer a cup of cold water shall not lose his reward. Matthew 10:42. But there is even peace on earth to men of good will. Luke 2:14. Immolate to God the sacrifice of praise. O sacrifice gratuitous, by grace given. I have not indeed but this to offer, but you have given, for not even this should I have had. And this is the immolation of the sacrifice of praise, to render thanks to him from whom you have whatever of good you have, and by whose mercy is forgiven you whatsoever of evil of yours you have. Immolate to God the sacrifice of praise, and render to the highest your prayers. With this ardor the Lord is well pleased.